12 distro partitions to install it to.
You want to you got to have that on every single one of the operating systems.
Well, actually, only 10.
It's really not that much more complicated. You just download the .exe and install it with the wine installer. It just
Do
goes
you
through
get the
the
Pysol card sets with that?
yeah.
Because
I mean, you
in
just treat it like you would with on Windows.
well, see, I don't know how I would treat it on Windows. I haven't touched Windows for longer than I've been married.
And it's not in the well, it is in the software manager.
Yeah, it just doesn't run. Maybe I could uninstall it and reinstall it. I don't know.
When I was on Ubuntu, I was like found some tutorial on how to install the newer version of Vine, and it worked for me. Even played some Need for Speed Underground too.
So now I've got it on here twice. Let me see if they both work because I don't know which one's which. Okay. That one's the wine version, I think. Because they both say PySol Fan Club Edition. And that one's not running.
Yep, that's the right one.
That's the winner.
And there is a comment here on the Software Center saying favorite game stopped working after update Linux Mint from 20.3 to V21.
Yep.
But
But
you do have an option. And it's the wine version, and it works flawlessly. Life's all about compromise, Moss.
life is all about not straining my brain cells.
It's not a big deal. It really isn't. In fact, if you install Wine first and then download it, and then you just double click on the exe, it already knows to install it with Wine Program Installer, and then it just goes through the next box thing.
Well, fortunately, not all of my distros are Mint. I don't. It doesn't run in Ubuntu 22 either. So it's apparently something in the code base of Ubuntu.
The other day, Ubuntu 22 4.1 was
Yeah,
released.
they got the point release. I saw that. And the point release for Ubuntu Unity includes the brand new Unity 7.4.
Okay, so there's no snap either, so I think you're probably going to be stuck with the Wine version. Or downgrade. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or wait for them to
Or
upgrade.
boot into something that's still based on 2004.
Yeah, which is fine because 2004 is supported for another 3 years.
Yeah, I think 1804 still has a year on it.
You can get. I think you could get that extended support for 1604 and run Unity.
But I can do 2204 and run Unity.
Yeah.
And in fact, Ubuntu Unity Respin has the brand new Unity 7.4.
Londoner just chimed in. He said, reinstall Pysol FC. You can try PIP install formatter. You may have to install PIP first.
Yeah.
I posted how to install from GitHub in Telegram channel a few days ago.
Yeah. I've seen some PIP installer things, and I just kind of don't.
I've got the same problem with Open Yahtzee. The exact same problem, but I downloaded the wine version and it just worked, so I didn't screw with it.
Yeah. Have you tried Kiriki?
Yeah. I've just been playing Open Yahtzee for so many years. It's just a quick little open up and play a couple when I'm waiting on something to compile or whatever.
I never played Open Yahtzee from the time I saw that Kiriki worked just as well. Had the same rules, same,
Yeah.
and it worked. But I haven't played that for a long time. Yeah, all I'm doing these days, I got Pysol, I've got K-Mines, I've got K-Mahjong, and I've got NetHack.
I'm really surprised there's not a snap and a flat pack though, because that's precisely the kind of thing those containerized stuff would be good for.
Yeah.
You know, if it needs to rely on old libraries or whatever.
If there was a flat pack, I'd be on it.
Yeah, I know.
If it included the card sets, because in the repo you have to. It's a 2-piece install.
Yeah, you got to download it.
Pysol FC and Pysol FC dash card sets.
You got to download it for the wine version too, but it's still the same concept.
Well, it's really weird because I only play one game on it, and I only use one card set, but I have to have the whole game and the whole card sets to play it that way, and I only like Pysol's version of Yukon, so if I was using Pysol because I like all 1,000 games on it, that would be a different thing, but this brain sort of only goes so many directions at one time, you know.
Tell you another one I used to like that people don't hear about anymore is that Ace of Penguins. That used to come with old versions of Lubuntu. That Ace of Penguins game. And that you talk about real stripped down.
I just found K Patience in Flatpak.
Oh, so they make flat packs of stuff that we don't need flat packs for, but
Exactly.
So what are we doing? I made the script. There's nothing in it except for dates.
well, are we gonna get back on the pen testing rigmarole?
Well, that's up to you, Mr. Bill.
Yep, completely up to you, Bill.
Why don't we give that a shot, and we'll turn that into a series, I think. And
I mean, if you want, I can do a whole thing on Sharpies versus Pentels.
Sharpie versus what?
Pentel or Papermate, you know, pen testing.
Pen 2.
Why didn't I see that coming?
I'll start watching some YouTube videos on the various applications, and instead of just looking at the operating system itself, I'll see what applications I want to potentially cover either on the next show or going forward from that.
Yeah, because it's huge. And so...
Actually, on Tech Plus Coffee, they have a large number of calligraphers, and they actually do a number of really high-end calligraphy pens. You get reviews and demos of various scripts on different pens. You get reviews and demos of. I'm echoing.
That was my YouTube page. Because I open it up in a separate browser so that I can pop out the chat thing. And then when I went back to that page, it started playing. Because I'm on here looking for fantastic ways to install PySol. And everything I come up with is pretty much... The wine version is way simpler. Because then you ain't got to worry about the libraries. But no, yeah, there's a lot of YouTube videos. There's one series that I'm watching, that I've started watching, and I'm gonna dive deeper into it throughout the week, this coming week. A full-on tutorial series.
Did you guys look up this 1GX device?
No.
You should, just to see what I'm working. See if I can find a link.
SD1GX smart transmitter.
No.
I'm sure that's not
1GX, 1 Pro, 1 netbook.
Yep.
Gaming PC.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a gaming PC. It's really not.
Yeah.
And I got it for like...
It's onenetbook.com /
I don't need that
1GX1-Pro.
Thank you.
Oh, 1GX1 Pro gaming. Okay, here it is.
And it's taking a buttload of time to load that page.
Yeah, the
7-inch.
page from One Netbook takes a really long time to load. You're better off going to the Amazon page.
That's
okay, I got it up now.
$1,729.
I got this for $150, and then I paid $55 for the battery, which took a month to get here.
Hmm.
It's got an i7.
Because the last guy, the battery was bloated so bad that the some of the anchors were where the screws go in to hold it together were coming apart, and he's just pulled it on to get rid of it.
Hmm.
It's got game pads that go on the side of it. You got those too?
I don't. And the one you're looking at is actually, if you're looking at Amazon or One Netbook, that's actually the updated one. The old one looks almost exactly the same, except it has the Core i5 10th gen instead of the i7 11th gen.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it's got.
And so
Actually, they don't seem to know the word gen. It says 11th Core i7.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, this has the 10th gen i5 and 16 gigs of RAM, and so it does have the slots for the side mounts, but I don't know if they're the same or not. So I would have to do some research. And from what I understand, those are only like places where they latch in. They don't actually connect to anything electronically, and they're Bluetooth, so they're still going to have latency no matter what. So all it really does is provide like handles on the device and maybe a different mouse.
USB 4 dual Type C.
This does have that. USB Type C, 2 slots.
Is it a USB 4?
I'm not sure if it's USB 4.0. It's probably like USB 3.1 or something. But I'd love to hook this up to like some external graphics and just give that a test, because I can pretty much use this as a desktop if I hook it up to like a USB dock or something. Except for those graphics.
Oh, they don't do good spell check either. I'm looking down at a picture of the fans. Dual pure coppered tube sink, A plus B turbocharged Mirko size.
Yeah, but essentially I got a $1,400 device for $200.
You got a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't use it anyhow, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's very tiny. It will take some getting used to for the typing, and I've got scaling set to 125%. But it's a super tiny device, and yeah, I think it works pretty good so far.
I went all in on the original EPC, and that was a 7-inch device.
Oh, my wife found me some Sobe.
Of course, that had a single core Atom back then.
Yeah, the Atom 900, I think.
But I learned really soon that my fingers do not type well on a 7-inch. The keyboard that would come with a 7-inch monitor.
It takes some getting used to.
Hey,
it doesn't have a mouse pad, which gives it more room for a keyboard. It's got a little mouse nub.
Well, by the time I got my last EPC, it was a 1215, so I was a full 12-inch. But that one only lasted about a year and a half. That was not good build quality.
Got a comment in the chat. Somebody by the name of Tony Sierna. Sierna. I apologize if I messed that up. It says I emailed Joe B about forgetting my password to get into my Gmail account that I need to recover. He knows me as Cherry Hill Tony.
Oh, well, I will look at my email later, and that's something you have to plan ahead for? I mean...
Always have backup email set up. Use a password manager. Bitwarden.
Not only that, sometimes you'll be able to recover if you had two-factor authentication set up with Google and they're willing to send something to your phone. But you can sometimes also set up single-use passwords with Google just in case, but that's once again something you have to plan ahead for because you have to be logged into your account to do it.
Exactly. And
all right, I have
one time I was like doing something on my laptop, and my dad was like, "Why are you so paranoid? You have a long password." So I was like, "That's normal."
It's normal, and it's a good idea.
I'm sorry, I wasn't even logged into Facebook until just a second ago. Hold on. I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be here, maybe.
I'm leaving.
With my hyper long and complicated passwords.
I use some pretty, depending on what it is, I will use pretty long, because if I've got to use a password manager anyway, it might as well be, I don't know, at least 18 characters and really
If
random.
I'm going to use a password manager, might as well use one that makes good randomized passwords.
You might as well make one then that's long enough to be a RSA key.
Well, I'm not going there, but Firefox has my passwords. Bitwarden has my passwords. I have no idea. I would love to delete all my passwords that Google has tried to save over the years, but they don't seem to let you want to do that.
Well, if you just change them and then not let Google have them anymore. That's one way to handle that, I suppose. Oh, Google. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. Get some background incidental music going here.
Yeah. The other day I was like doing the upgrade from 20.3 to 21 and played Pink Floyd in the background.
Mm. Well, I remember Pink Floyd back before they even did vocals. I think their first two albums were out when I was a freshman in college. And that was Atom Heart Mother and Umaguma. And not a word was
Jeez.
spoken on those. I'm
And
old.
I was like already prepared with the USB stick. If it fails, I have a back prepared to do the fresh install.
Yeah.
Expect the best and prepare for the worst.
Bill's got a train going by.
Yep.
Whoa!
Oh, what the heck?
Give me a second.
Holy moly.
That hurt, Joe.
That's an ear reaper.
Yeah. Got these nice new headphones Joe sent me, and then he blows my ears out with them.
I blame you.
Of course you do.
I fixed it.
Yes, you did.
I'm glad you're liking those headphones.
They're nice. They were nice enough to give the cost to my wife, even after fixing the ear pads. I didn't need the mic on the cost anyhow, and the mic was kind of crap anyhow.
Yeah.
I had an interesting issue with my T540P where I went through it well, last night or night before. I lose track of time. Um, I updated all five distros on it, turned it off. I was going to go back to it, and when I went to go back to it, it wouldn't turn on. Still had half a battery charge according to what the icon said when I turned it off. But I went and plugged it in and left it overnight, and it's worked fine since.
Your batteries are hit or miss all around.
Well, it is a 2014 model. Nobody has even bid on my T430. It's like I made a decent price on it. I thought. Anytime you can get a decent ThinkPad in good shape with almost no scratches or anything wrong with it for under $200, you're doing okay. I may have to knock it down to 150.
Or turn it on to auction. Start it at your minimum price.
Yeah, that's the option.
Well,
The
I
other
don't do
day I
well
was
in
like scrolling through Facebook and some guys like he works in Ireland in some company and they're like throwing out some laptops. They're looking good. Like, does someone know some school that needs it? I was like, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I don't do well with auctions. I almost always wind up selling it for the minimum price.
Yeah, but at least there's the opportunity to potentially bring
Yeah.
in more. What do you want me to say, Moss?
Well, my stock investing is going better. 4 weeks ago, the value was about 74% of what I had invested, and as of last night, it's about 90% of what I had invested.
Yeah, that's the way things have been working.
And we're still in kind of a down market, although it's been sneaking up. If we ever get a regular market, I should be doing okay. I seem to have made some good choices. And a bad one. I should never have invested in Meta. The pot stocks are down, but that's to be expected since we haven't legalized pot yet, and most of the companies are based in Canada and are just waiting for a U.S. market.
Yeah, well, if it one day does get legalized, you're all set.
You're going weird again, Joe. Yeah, well, if I actually have one pot stock that is making money, a little tiny bit, but it's making money, and I don't know how. Ah, Joe with a picture. Woo!
Yeah. Well, this tiny laptop doesn't have a camera, but I grabbed my old Life Cam,
Yeah.
Microsoft Cam, and hooked that up to it.
Well,
So
I have had an adventure in the past week or so with UPSs. Y'all recall I had my UPS go out. I better make a little bit here, that's loud, Joe.
it's loud.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
The fan?
Yeah, sounds like wind sounds.
I just switched microphones when I added a device.
I'll just sit here and blow into my mic so you can hear it.
There you go.
Yes.
Much better?
Much better.
All right. That's what happened. It switched to the camera's mic.
As you all know from last week, I had some UPS issues.
Did you get that taken care of?
I finally did,
you.
but not the way I'd intended to.
For the chocolate syrup.
I actually got the battery out of my CyberPower, and I ordered one and from Amazon, and they sent me something that was the same dimensions, but 3 times the size. And then they told me, okay, well, we don't do refunds or returns on these. So I went down to the battery store, and they had the same exact CyberPower unit for sale on the shelf, but they didn't have a replacement battery for it, couldn't find one in any of their stores, and in fact couldn't find one on the internet. So I just wound up buying a whole nother unit, a APC, like I should have had in the first place. Never buying CyberPower. So now I've got an APC unit just like all my others, 450 watt with 4 3-prong plugs on it. Well, 6 actually, but 2 of them only do spike protection.
I've wondered what I should be doing with it, because this thing just stays on running, just doing nothing, and I wonder if maybe I should be doing something to condition the battery periodically, or if that's all for the money that thing cost. It should have been built in.
Well, find out what the replacement battery costs.
I probably should have did that before I bought it.
Yeah, because it's always cheaper to buy a replacement battery, and if you can get a cheap Chinese battery, hey, it's a lead acid battery. It doesn't matter if it says Duracell or Yangqi on it. It's going to be the same damn battery.
Yeah. I don't even know. It's a 1500 VA.
Yeah, mine's only a 450, but we've got one here. We've got one for the TV computer. We've got one for the modem, and we've got one for my wife's computer. Rather than having one big one and wiring everything to it, just get a bunch of little ones and put them where they're needed.
It looks like the battery's $40. Let me see here. Let me bring Firefox up.
How much was the device itself?
About, I think it was 500. Hold on.
So then that's pretty good.
Yep.
Let me bring it up so I'm not just talking a bunch of crap.
The batteries tend to last up to 5 years. Unless you have a CyberPower where they are actually making a half-size battery act like it's a full-size battery. That's how they save their money. I was actually surprised to see that the CyberPower 450 was going for the same price as the APC 450. I know the APC has a 2.5 times size battery.
Oh gosh, the doggone thing is 219 now.
Well, yeah, but $40 for a battery beats that.
Gee whiz, I'm gonna buy another one of these. Actually, no. I need another server because I've had it with this Rock Pro.
Oh?
Well, it was fine when I was just using it for projects and stuff, but if I'm gonna run the Nextcloud for the show on it, it needs to be something serious. And about once every couple years, it corrupts the file system in some strange way.
Yeah.
This time it corrupted it to where one of the drives was taken completely offline, so when you put it back into the ZFS array, it doesn't come back as a mirror, it comes back as striped. So we've got bigger file space now, but there's no parity whatsoever. So I did a cold backup of it, and I need to ditch this thing and get another x86. I'd like another one of these. Is what I'd like.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
I love my Think Center Tinies.
Well, I need to be able to put 2 big old NAS drives in it and run them on a RAID, on a ZFS RAID.
Well, you can do that external.
I want them to be SATA. Your USB ZFS screws up a lot over USB.
Well, why ZFS then?
Because it self-heals. If you're real serious about holding on to your data,
You mean like ButterFS?
Well, ButterFS will do things if you manually run the checks. ZFS is just that much better at managing your data and making sure every time you read the data, it's checking the checksums and fixing the problems. ButterFS won't fix anything unless you explicitly tell it to.
Okay.
But ButterFS is GPL. It's compatible with the kernel. You know, I wish it was on parity because I would.
Well, then let
that.
me suggest a Think Center not tiny. They have regular size Think Centers too. They're about twice the size.
I'll probably be looking at something like that. Or
because this Think Center Tiny with an i5, you can get around 100, 150 bucks. It's a 2016 model, but it runs, you know.
I'm trying to see where the battery is. CyberPower. Okay, there's the model number. Copy.
I paid almost 400 with the i7 and 16 gigs, but I think I paid 190 for the i3 with 12 gigs. Well, I bought it with 8, but 4 of it wasn't reading, so he sent me an 8 gig and I plugged that in. And it's the same damn box, just a different processor and RAM.
You can get a 4-pack of these batteries for 85 bucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm batteried up for now. I don't even want to talk about it that much because I talk about every bloody thing that happened along the way, and we don't need a 2-hour thing.
These are the actual...
I just found one 6th gen i3.
6th gen i3 for what? A server? All it's got to do is run Nextcloud.
Well, I think a Think Center would be a big step up from a Rock.
I was wanting another one of these. That way it would look kind of sharp, two of them sitting next to each other. But
Yeah.
this thing was... of course, I did a lot to it.
What's that, a mint box?
This, no, that's just a sticker. It's a Dell EMC PowerEdge T40. And it costed me... Now, I put, like, extra RAM in it, too, and a Samsung NVMe drive, and it's not... the search on Amazon is not good. There it is. Dell PowerEdge T40 server, BTX, Intel Xeon, 3.5 gigahertz, 8 gigabytes of RAM, which I updated to 64 gig of RAM, 1 terabyte SATA drive, which I got rid of in favor of that 500 gig Samsung NVMe. But this thing costed me, whoa, I did not pay $1,299. I don't think I did.
Dropping a link in general, Bill. It's a long one, but it's eBay.
Let's have a look at that, because I don't think I paid $1,300 for this thing. Lord have mercy. Oh, well. That would do... How many... What can I put in it? No OS, no hard disk, DisplayPort and VGA.
It'll hold up to 32 gigs of RAM.
But there's no SATA. It doesn't necessarily have to be a powerhouse, but I need something that'll hold 2 3.5-inch drives, and then maybe just one. All I really need is one PCIe X4, so I can put a card on there for an NVMe drive. Ideally, just a place to put an NVMe right on the motherboard. But
Hey! Cat just learned how to push the door open.
why did I instinctively know he was talking to a cat right there?
Well, I'm sorry that ZFS doesn't work well over USB, because they've got another of those wavelength toasters for a really cheap price. And they're harder than hell to find most of the time.
I can't.
And
There
I love
is
mine.
no way I paid $1,299 for this server. Maybe I did. You would think I would remember something like that. For something that's just running Jellyfin. It's making me feel kind of stupid. Of course, it's running a reverse proxy too, and some other Docker stuff. That's quite a lot of money for just a tower. Oh well. So I need like they're called think centers, right?
Yep, with a TRE.
Oh, so they spell it correctly.
Take that, you bloody Yanks!
Oh, you Yanks! All thinking you're better than us. Sick of you.
Limeys.
Blimey. There's a lot of think centers out there.
Yeah, and you can get them with i3, i5, or i7. I haven't looked for an i9. Like I said, my i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and 128 gig SSD was just under $400.
I think i3 would be perfectly fine. All it's got to
Yeah, that's what I got for my TV machine is an i3.
Yeah, because
And
it's
I
not
think I
going to
paid
do.
$100 for that.
It's not going to do any rendering of any kind. It's going to be headless, basically. I don't know. It's going to be a couple months before I pull the trigger on anything.
Well, let me see what I got purchased.
I found something on our ads. It's like $163
Where's that at?
in Croatia here. It's like M700.
M700?
Yeah, I paid $99.99 for mine, for my ThinkCenter with an i3 6100T. 8 gigs of RAM, 320 gig hard drive. It had a spinning rust drive in it.
Yeah, these don't have the space for two 3.5 inch. I need
Nope,
to be able
just
to put.
one.
What's that?
I said nope. It has place for just one hard drive.
No, that won't work. It needs to have a full size. Here's one for.
I thought it had an NVMe in it.
Yeah, I need that too. So basically 3 drives: the NVMe
Ah.
and the 2 NAS drives. But the NVMe can be done through a PCI slot if it doesn't have it.
Well, again, this is the tiny. They have non-tiny models.
I'm looking at
that even come with a CD drive in it.
Here's the ThinkCenter M700 with an i7 6700, and this is a full-size tower. Let me see.
It is not a tower. No matter how full size it is, it's not a tower. Little bitty box. It's about the size of an external. My tiny is about the size of an external DVD drive.
This one's got 4 PCI slots, from what I can see from the outside. I can't tell though. Can't tell what it's got. It's renewed. It's refurbished.
Yeah. Well, these are 2016 era machines.
Yeah, that would be perfectly fine. Just to run Ubuntu server on it.
Yeah.
But I need to know if it'll hold 3.5 inch drives.
Well, apparently the price went up. I clicked on the link of the one I bought for $99, and it's currently $110. That'll just break your bank, won't it?
Well, not really, but it's got to have.
He might have to cancel one of his subscriptions for a month or two.
Somehow I knew that was coming. That'd be a good way to ensure that it's got good Linux support, though, is to go with one of these ThinkCenters.
I had a little trouble putting Linux on it the first time, but I've got an article on itsmoss.com saying what you got to do that. But after that, it starts just acting just like a ThinkPad, and you just hit F12 to install anything.
I wonder if my wife knows I paid $1,300 for this server.
Don't tell her now, man.
Maybe I should just use it. Put Nextcloud on a Docker image.
Probably. I mean, if you've already got a $1,300 server, then yeah, why buy another one?
Well, because the disk drives, basically, because I've already got the 3 drive slots that it's got filled.
They make PCI cards that have more SATA slots?
Yeah. I don't know if the power supply would be enough for it.
They
Probably would.
make power supplies that cost less than $1,300. Just saying.
That might be the obvious answer. Because it sits here and does... It sits here and does FA most of the time. Unless somebody's watching Jellyfin.
If I were to randomly spend $1,300 without consulting the wife, I'd probably get hit with a baseball bat while I was sleeping.
Hey, Bill.
I get a passive-aggressive sort of, yeah, well, you just spend money without asking me, that kind of thing.
Bill dropping another for you.
Okay. Yes, go to... Ooh, look at this monster. $100.
Yeah.
Buy now.
Last one available.
Oh, man. Oh, dude, that's perfect.
He's like, let me spend the money now.
Like Fry, shut up and take my money.
You can see the look on his face. He is about to hit that button.
It's got a 3.4 gigahertz. This is a steal. It's got an i7 4770, 3.4 gigahertz with 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's $99.99. It's a Windows 7 era tower, though.
Still, a 4th gen i7 isn't terrible.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, fourth gen i7 sure beats the 10th gen i3.
Well, I can't put Windows 11 on it.
There's a lot you can't put Windows 11 on, but you weren't planning on putting.
Going to, Bill?
You weren't planning on putting Windows on it anyway.
No, in fact, I'm thinking about taking it off of this one because it just stays running Mint all the time. This thing's perfect, dude. Somebody needs to talk me out of this. Too late.
I told you.
You want that computer, Bill. You will buy that computer, Bill.
We're enablers here.
You are pushing the button.
That's an awfully good price, man. $99.99.
You are pushing the button. You will not even tell your wife. You will not even notice the bump in your bank account.
It's horrible, Moss.
The player pushed the button. And story carried on.
Yeah, this is getting ready to happen. It's got no NVMe, but not that I could tell. Let me bring this back up. It's got plenty of slots, though. It's got 2 X16 slots.
Yeah, you can always drop an NVMe into one of those.
Yeah, I was just seeing if it was built in somewhere. It's got no drives whatsoever from what I'm looking at here. Because it's got 2 slots for 3.
Well, you got the drives that are in your are with your Rock Pro.
Yeah, well, the operating system's on an eMMC card. The drives are just the data for the Nextcloud. But that's a non-issue. I've actually got
Big old stack of hard drives.
Yeah, but I've got an NVMe somewhere. Probably over in my parts.
Well, with the 4th gen, does it take NVMe?
Ooh.
Probably not. You're probably gonna have to get a 2.5 SSD.
And if it's a server, it doesn't even really matter, does it? I mean,
It doesn't.
It would probably, if we ever started using it for the documents, it would probably be a lot faster on an SSD to run the Nextcloud docs.
Even then, I mean, because of, network latency and things like that, we're really not going to notice the difference between even a spinning Rust and an SSD.
Yeah.
Well, they've got the same thing with 16 gigs of RAM, a 240 gig SSD, no OS for $159.99.
Nah.
Not really. I mean, you can get 256 gig for $40 brand new SSD from Micro Center or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like an 8 terabyte.
Well, it's 16 gigs of RAM too, so twice the RAM.
I don't know that I need 16 gigs just to run Nextcloud.
All right. I will
think
be
you
quiet.
can get an 8
Really,
terabyte
you still
spinning
haven't
disk
pushed the
for.
The little demon on your shoulder is telling you need to click that buy it now button.
Well, that's what's happening.
Look
Sign in
in
to
the public.
Gosh, my eBay account is so old, it's under my Yahoo email account.
Ouch. People still use Yahoo?
Yeah, sign up for porn sites and stuff.
Right, for their junk email.
Well, Yahoo News is still making money somehow. I believe it's owned by Verizon now.
I need my wallet. Because I don't know the card number.
Take my money!
Let me see if I got enough.
Shut up and take my money.
Well, this is a good deal, I think.
Well, for what you're using it for, it sure should be.
Watch. After he gets it, you're going to see him spend like triple the money on upgrades. He's like, I gotta have 32 gigs of RAM.
I don't think I need that.
It needs 24 terabytes of hard drive storage, and it's going to need an SSD for the operating system. That's going to need to at least be 2 terabytes.
Let's see.
2 terabytes for an operating system in Linux?
It's Bill.
He's not even denying it.
No, and then he's like, well, I
would
got
like
this 2
to defend
terabyte
myself.
SSD, but it's slow. So now I'm going to get the PCIe card so that I can use an M.2.
That's what I'd like to do. I'll be right back.
Just trying to make the man broke.
Well, at that price, not really. You know, you could have found a $400 or $500 computer that would have been almost as exciting.
That's true.
I am the king of cheap, let me tell you.
Also true.
Well, I spent 68 years being the king of broke.
It's understandable. Oh. I gotta hit the bench today. It's bench day. It's not heavy bench day, just bench day. Thank you.
Oh, Respawn's been posting stuff in public to tempt Bill further. I'm posting it in Crew General.
I'm really liking this tiny little device. It is getting warm, but you know, I'm monitoring it on P sensor, and it's not showing that the hard drive is getting warm or any of the other sensors are getting warm, but the casing is getting warm. Makes me really wish I had like a thermal cam or something, just so I could see what the temperatures are.
Mm-hmm.
Because the battery, you know, did bloat with the last setup. So I'm wondering if it was a heat issue, but then again, I'm also in a 100-degree garage. And I can feel the little fan spinning. And I grabbed a USB-C hub because the 2.4 gigahertz adapter was getting warm being directly connected, so a little space between it and the body is always helpful. But that happens on a lot of my ThinkPad USB hubs too, so... Also, you know, doing video chat with you guys, I'm not kind of all that surprised that it's heating up. I know I should take it apart and redo the thermal paste as well.
Bill, what was that with your eyebrows?
Just watching the little spinning thing to... Order is in.
He was making the purchase.
Yeah. So an NVMe won't work on...
Well, it won't go directly into the motherboard. You might have to get a PCI adapter to M.2.
Ah. Yes, that is fine.
But you should see what type of PCI slots it has. If it has a PCIe slot, then go with a PCIe to M.2.
Yeah, it's got two X16 PCIe.
So full-size PCI slots.
Yeah.
So you need a full-size PCI to M.2 adapter.
Yep, I'm looking right now.
And then hopefully, well, the other thing with that is hopefully the motherboard will allow it to boot from PCIe. Otherwise, you have to do some fancy crap where your boot partition, well, basically your grub is on one and your operating system is on the PCIe, because then the process will start and it will be able to read whatever hard drive it's on, and then you could say point it to the PCIe, which comes up later in the motherboard's boot process.
Yeah.
Well, Bill spent money. My work here is done.
I almost sound like I know shit.
I've actually done that before, but this... I bought one of these adapters before. I can see that it's on my previous... Oh, yeah, I got one for my son.
I don't think they're that expensive.
They're $13.
Yeah.
But the Samsung 970 Evo is 109. Well, that's 1 terabyte. I don't need that.
Well,
128 gig M.2 probably runs you, what, 40, 50 bucks.
Well, thanks to Josh Hawk, I have stopped buying Samsung. I am buying Silicon Power.
Why?
Because they are cheaper.
Oh, yeah, they are far cheaper.
For what? SSDs?
Yeah.
I buy the cheap ones. I don't really care if they die. I'll go buy another one. I mean, when you can get
better than
100
the cheap ones, but they're not as good as the Samsungs.
Oh, if you're talking M.2, that's a different story. But if you're talking just like a 2.5-inch SSD, I'll walk into Micro Center and walk out with one of their $20 128 gigs.
The 980 Pro is $96.99 for a 250 gig.
Yeah, but do you really need the 980 Pro?
No, I'm gonna see what the Evo costs.
Because you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna get the full read-write speeds anyway with the PCI adapter. I mean, you technically should be able to, but using an adapter, you're still gonna, get some overhead.
970 Evo Plus.
Still looking at the 970s, man.
That was a 980 before. This is $64.99.
Okay, you're still looking at Evos.
I was looking at a Pro before.
Ugh.
That's what I got in
Still
this.
looking at.
That's what I got.
Still
in
looking
all
at
this.
expensive stuff.
Well, it's our It's our next cloud. No, thank you. And my road to financial ruin is nearly complete.
Dropping you a link, Bill.
For what? Yeah. What's that save me though? That saves me like $25.
For twice the storage.
But I don't need twice the storage. I just need.
Well, then get a smaller unit.
That's the smallest they got.
I don't think so.
That's the smallest on here. I'm surprised they don't have like 120. All I really need is like 128 gig.
Yeah, just don't get the Samsung.
Bill, Silicon Power M.2 is $18.99.
Yeah, M.2 SSD.
Here, Bill, I'll drop this one.
500 gig for 55. 500 gig for 35.
128 gig for $18.99.
Yeah. Oh, 256 gig for $21.49.
$18.99 it is.
You can blame Josh Hawk for that.
No, I've got some Silicon Power stuff over in the drawer.
Silicon Power, 256 gig, $25.
Yeah, my external drives are both SPs. Here, pull one and show you. Just regular.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those here and there.
I just plug those into my toaster and I'm good to go.
I put one into that big 17-inch laptop I sent you. One of those Silicon Powers.
17-inch laptop you sent me?
To Joe.
Oh,
that got
other
lost
you.
in the ether.
The one that I never got.
Yeah. So I was out a 2 terabyte. I think I put a 2 terabyte Barracuda Pro in that because it's got two slots for SSDs and then that 128 gig Silicon Power. Anyway, that stuff's all on the way. And when it gets here, I'm sure I'm in trouble.
Welcome to mintCast, where we help you spend money on good shit.
I've bought more computer gear in the last 9 months than probably 9 years leading up to that.
Well, I have definitely bought more gear since joining the show, but I've also had more than that sent to me free. I have been very, very grateful for all the fun stuff I get.
Yeah, that's cool.
Looking how to fix screen tearing.
On what?
This little device.
What's it running?
Mint.
XFCE?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. You getting screen tearing on Cinnamon?
Yeah.
Does it have the hardware acceleration enabled?
Oh, let me see. It should. It's not like I turned it off. It'd be under display, right? Settings. Disable automatic screen rotation.
Oh, we lost Respawn.
It's not here.
gonna have to look that up because I don't see it in the.
Oh, did I tell you I finally got a mention on Wikipedia?
That's more than me.
Really?
Apparently, there is a Wikipedia page for Full Circle magazine, and they cover everything they do, including Full Circle. Yes, my name is there. I wish they had a page for mintCast.
Have you got run that driver manager thing and see if it's got the driver it needs?
Can update the kernel, see if that helps.
That,
I'm opening the driver manager.
the kernel is a thing too, because in order to get Cinnamon to work with hardware enablement on this machine, I had to update the kernel.
Well, I think I'm on 20.2 on this right this second, so I would have to do the upgrade to 20.3 and then see if I can do the upgrade to 21. And then start playing around with the kernel.
You know what? I used the update tool, and I did have that one problem, but once I fixed it, I'm really kind of surprised how well everything's working. I might just leave it alone for the time being.
Let me see what INC gives me. It didn't give me anything under graphics.
I bet it's a kernel thing then. Because I remember Cinnamon saying that it was running under compatibility mode or whatever it calls it when it doesn't have what it needs to.
It's not running under compatibility mode, so it's got to have hardware acceleration. But INXI is not giving me anything under graphics.
We Mate users will just sit here and grin.
Is screen tearing a problem on Mate?
I haven't had any problem.
Because I was running it there for a while, but I never had any problems with it. I don't know why I don't use it. Why I always choose XFCE instead. Just force of habit, I guess.
Well, I find Mate is easier to configure than XFCE. And it's a lot lower memory use than Cinnamon.
I always just set it up to look exactly like old GNOME 2 with the two toolbars and the old-fashioned. And then you've got no. Oh, that is one thing I don't like.
But if you want old GNOME 2, that's what Mate is.
Yeah, no, I know. And then I just let it run that way.
Because Martin Wimpress has done magic to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Intel driver i915 via the kernel.
How old is it?
2-3 years.
It could be a kernel thing, I suppose. What kernel are you running?
Stock. So what is that? 5.4.
For that one,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, I would try updating the kernel and see what that does. At least.
Yeah, I had a problem on Bodhi. When I first installed Bodhi, I did not have a tearing problem. But then
Well,
after it got up around 5.4.0-90 or 85, somewhere up in there, I started having tearing, and they told me, well, just install Compton.
No.
Well, I did, and it worked, but I also get the transparency issues that I'm not going to go edit a file to get rid of.
All right.
Well, guys, I'm falling asleep here. We're having such a scintillating conversation.
Yeah, it's all very interesting, isn't it?
that's
My
been
aren't the
good.
walls perpendicular.
Let's see. We've been live for an hour and 11 minutes, it looks like. Nobody engaging in the chat, really.
Should I take off?
If you like, I think I'll do the same.
All
Yeah.
right, guys. See you next Saturday. Hopefully, I'll have something in the show notes, but I told you as far as I'm going to do on pen testing. Depends on what pens I can buy.
It's Pen 2. So go ahead and get that installed and start working on it, and then by the time I get done with Kali, you ought to be ready to
Bill,
rock and roll then.
not going to happen, Bill.
Oh. All right, well,
Dream.
we'll try again next week then.
Dream.
We'll convince you, Moss.
You're not going to get me on pen 2.
Well, not to get on PenTube. Maybe pick an application. Pick a pen test application and just, play with it for a little bit.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. You don't even have to have it
I
on
have no
pen
use for
testing.
penetration testing.
Do something like Netstat. That way you can see what's using your network.
Yeah, use it on your network. Netstat might get you in a little trouble.
Oh?
As I found out at Applebee's one day.
Somebody caught you using Netstat?
Somebody asked me what I was doing because I was on Tmux. Termux.
On your phone?
On my phone. And I was showing...
I'd have been like, none of your goddamn business.
Well, I was showing somebody how easy it is to, own people in a restaurant. Especially when they don't name their Wi-Fi access points very well. And so if you make an access point and you call it something like Applebee's Guest or something like that, like it should be, then people will start hooking up to that, like right now. And they did. And it didn't take long at all. And then you do a little Netstat action, and you can basically watch everything they do.
You people are evil. I am not that kind of person.
I didn't use it to do anything bad. I just wanted... The point I was trying to make was that you need to watch what you're doing when you're in public.
I did tell you I've renamed my router surveillance van.
I thought you were going to say you named it after a cat or something.
No,
That's what
I
cat
wouldn't
people
do that.
usually do.
I'm not a cat people.
You should call it FBI like 1276 or something. Or FBI 1776.
Well, if we ever get a house to move to, I'm going to rename it NSA Listening Post.
That just makes somebody like me want to try to get on there. I'd put a sniffer on it 24 hours to try to get the password. All right, kids.
All right.
We'll see you.
Later, guys.
See